on multiplication and quotient? Okay. So again, we're looking at simplifying rational expressions. All right? And a rational expression is the quotient of two polynomials. Okay. The numerator and denominator of a rational expression have no common factor. So if it's not factorable, not able to simplify, if the numerator and denominator of a rational expression have no common factors, or you're done simplifying at that point.
Do we have to memorize all these?
Yes. Okay. Example 1. What is x squared minus 6x minus 16 and x squared plus 5x plus 6? So this is why I had to do all that factoring practice. We're going to factor the top and the bottom. Okay? So I'm going to start with, you can use the Punnett square thing if you want, but I know x goes here and x goes here. What two numbers? Multiply to give me negative 16, add together to give me negative 6. Minus 8 and positive 2. Okay? All right, we're going to factor the bottom. So what two numbers multiply to give us 6, but add together to give us 5?
3 and 2.
3 and 2. Okay, when we're looking at this, you guys remember that if you have 5 over 5, that gives you 1, right? So x plus 2 over x plus 2 just gives us 1. And when we times something by 1, we just get itself. So my simplest form is x minus 8 over x plus 3.
For the bottom, x plus 2, x plus 3, could that be the flip-flop around?
Yes, they can always be. When they're multiplied together like that, they can always be the other way.
Can you do the Punnett square? X plus 2 still cancel out even
Yes.
below each other?
Yes.
Can you do the Punnett square?
Yeah. So if we're going to take a step back and do the Punnett square for this, because I like that way too. This is how I show my work if I don't know how to do it right away. I put an x squared there and I put a negative 16 right here. Okay? Now I know these two circles right here have to add up to be negative 6. So I have x and x. And then I think about, okay, what are all my factors of 16? I've got 1 and 16, 2 and 8, and 4 and 4. That's all there are, right? So which ones, when I subtract them, will give me negative 6, 2, and 8. So the 8 has to be negative, and the 2 has to be positive. And that fills it all in for me. And then I can do the same thing for the bottom. We have x squared. We know this has to be 6. These two have to add up to be 5. So I know that is positive 2 and positive 3. Okay. So your homework and your classwork tonight is just going to be these. Okay? Quotient and multiplication we will do tomorrow, but there is some more simplifying in here, and plus I want you to get kind of used to the multiplication and division, okay? So we're going to do a couple of those. So the only difference with multiplication is there's more things to factor. We've got x squared minus 25. Now, one of the reasons I had you do all those little special tricks is so that right away you know this is x minus 5 times x plus 5. Done. The bottom, x squared plus 4x plus 3 is, what does that factor to, guys? What multiplies to give us 3 but adds together to give us 4? X plus 3 and x plus 1. Okay. Then we're going to do the top. What does that factor to be? X and x, what two numbers multiply to give us negative 6 but add to give us 1? Negative 2 and positive 3. And then we have the x minus 5 on the bottom. What's nice about this is now I can cancel out all the stuff they have in common. X minus 5 and x minus 5, they'll be divided by to give us 1. X plus 3 and x plus 3. So then I just write down what I have left. X plus 5 times x minus 2 over x plus 4. That's it. Questions about this? Okay. Here is my question about division. When you are dividing fractions, how do you do it? Does anybody remember?
It's like the
You
reciprocal.
right, you're kind of multiplying. You flip the second fraction and then just multiply straight across. It's the only difference between multiplication to division is you have to flip the fraction. Okay? So instead of rewriting this and having a bunch of work, I'm just going to do this to remind myself to flip this one. And then when I factor it, I'm just going to put the factors, the ones on the bottom that were on the bottom and the top, and the ones on the top and the bottom. Okay? So let's factor this first fraction. X squared plus 5x plus 4. What am I going to get? X plus 1 and x plus 4, right? What about the bottom? I've got x squared plus x minus 12. So I'm going to get x plus 4 and x minus 3. Good. I did make you do all those because I do want you to be able to do it this fast. So that you have, plus 1. All right, now remember I'm going to put times, but I'm going to put the bottom on the top. 2x squared minus 6x. What is that going to be? What can I pull out of both of those? 2. 2 and what else can I pull out? An x. So I'm left with x minus 3. Okay, and we've got x squared minus 1. Remember that's a special one because they're both perfect squares. So that's x plus 1 and x minus 1. Now I am going to cancel out, or when they divide to 1 for both of them. X plus 1, x plus 1, x plus 4's cancel out, x minus 3 and x minus 3 cancel out, and I'm just left with 2x over x minus 1. Yep. So you do have classwork and homework. They're just like number 1. Tomorrow is going to be multiplication and division. You'll have classwork and homework for it. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do things where we have to add them together. So we have to come up with how to make them into the same denominator. So that'll be a little bit more challenging on Wednesday. Thursday is going to be review, and then Friday is going to be the quiz over all this stuff. Dominic, do you have a question?
Could you move the paper?
Okay. Both the back of this paper and the second paper are both due tomorrow. If you only complete one, you will only get half credit. Any other questions? Please feel free if you get stuck to let me know. But you have a decent amount of time in class. You could really finish both of these and not have any homework tonight if you wanted.